Rubber is a 2010 French independent dark comedy film about a tire that comes to life and kills people with its psychic powers. It was directed and written by Quentin Dupieux. The film was shown at the Cannes Film Festival in 2010. The film received positive reviews from critics, but it was a box office failure, grossing only US $100,370 on its US $500,000 budget. Plot: a group of people in a California desert are gathered to watch a film. A sheriff, Chad, points out that many moments in cinema happen for no reason, that life is full of this no reason, and that this film is a homage to no reason. An accountant then passes out binoculars to the group and rides off on a bicycle. The spectators then start looking through their binoculars into the distance, waiting for the film to start. Throughout the film, this group of people return in order to gauge their reactions to what has taken place so far. In the late 1990s, somewhere in a California desert, a tire suddenly comes to life. At first, it learns how to stand upright and then how to roll. It comes across a plastic water bottle and, after hesitating, crushes it. It then comes across a scorpion and crushes it. It then comes across a glass beer bottle, but is unable to crush it by rolling over it. It then starts to vibrate intensely and psychokinetically causes the bottle to fracture. It then induces a tin can and a rabbit to explode. The tire then sees a woman drive by and attempts to use its powers on her. However, it only succeeds in making her car stall. As the tire begins to roll towards her stalled car, a truck comes by and runs the tire over. This breaks the connection, allowing the woman's car to start again, and she continues on her way. The tire explodes. A crow then finds the man that had been driving the truck, which ran him over, and blows up his head. Arriving in a nearby desert town, the tire comes across the woman in the car. She is staying in a motel and, after watching her shower through an open door, the tire goes into the room next to hers. After the motel maid finds the tire showering and throws it out of the room, the tire re-enters the room and blows up her head. Chad, the sheriff from the opening of the movie, shows up to investigate the murders. Chad is both inside and outside the diegesis, sometimes participating in the narrative action and sometimes commenting on it. The accountant tries to end the movie early by feeding the audience a poisoned turkey, but one of them, a man in a wheelchair, does not partake and survives. The accountant then informs Chad. Chad witnesses the tire kill the motel owner and leads the cops on the tire hunt. Meanwhile, the accountant tries to poison the man in the wheelchair with more food, but ends up eating it himself and dying. As the tire is running from the police, it comes across a group of people burning a large pile of tires. The film then jumps to 3 days later, showing the results of a killing spree. The cops find the tire watching an auto racing program in a house, having killed the occupants. Chad rigs a mannequin with dynamite, intending for the tire to blow the mannequin's head up, thereby detonating the dynamite and destroying itself. However, when the tire destroys the mannequin's head, the dynamite does not explode. Enraged, Chad shoots and kills the tire with a shotgun, after which he gives the tire to the man in the wheelchair. A tricycle emerges from the house and kills the man in the wheelchair. The tricycle begins rolling down the road, other tires begin rolling behind it, and they eventually roll to Hollywood, where the film concludes. Cast: Steven Spinella as Lieutenant Chad, Jack Plotnick as accountant, Roxanne Mesquida as Sheila, Wings Hauser as man in wheelchair, Ethan Cohn as movie buff Ethan, Charlie Coons as movie buff Charlie, Haley Holmes as Cindy, Haley Ram as Fiona, Daniel Quinn as Dad, Devon Broshaw as son, Tara Jean O'Brien as Martina the cleaning lady, David Bowe as Mr. Hughes, Remy Thorne as Zach, Cecilia Antoinette as woman, Thomas F. Duffy as Deputy Xavier, Blake Robbins as Deputy Luke, Pete DiCecco as Deputy Pete, Courtney Taylor as Deputy Denise, James Parks as Deputy Doug, Gaspard Orgay as Hitchhiker, Pedro Winter as tire burner, Robert the Tire as Robert. Release. The film was shown on May 15, 2010 at Cannes Critics Week. After the film was shown at Cannes, it was picked up for U.S. distribution by Magnet Releasing. Rubber has its premiere outside of France on July 9, 2010 at the Fantasia Festival. Rubber was shown at the Sitges Film Festival where it had a positive reception. The film was shown in Toronto at the After Dark Film Festival. Fangoria magazine stated the film deeply split the audience reaction, saying that Rubber earned huge laughs and applause as well as the only boos heard by Fango at the fest. The DVD and soundtrack were made available to purchase from March 14, 2011, and the DVD and Blu-ray disc from June 7, 2011. Reception. The film received generally positive reviews from critics. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 68% rating based on reviews from 78 critics. IndieWire called the film one of the more bizarre experiments with genre in quite some time, and that it does begin to wear out its welcome around the 60-minute mark. But you can't blame Dupuy for giving it a shot. Outside Cannes, the film received positive reception at other film festivals. Twitch Film gave the film a positive review, saying it was impeccably shot, scored and designed, and the film is intellectual wankery of the highest order in the sheepskin of a B film of the lowest order. The Huffington Post wrote that Quentin Dupieux succeeds in creating an entertaining, sometimes even tense horror film with the very same footage he lightly mocks. The result is an uber-cerebral spoof that is at once silly and smart. Populous like a mildly trashy B-movie yet highbrow like absurdist theater. The Telegraph wrote a negative review of the film, saying, "How could it not be brilliant? By at 85 minutes, being an hour too long, by being arch rather than schlocky, and by wasting too much time on dull dialogue celebrating its no reason philosophy." Variety also gave a negative review, saying that Rubber is neither scary, funny, nor anywhere near as clever as it seems to think it is. Pick offers odds few reasons to want to see it beyond its one-joke premise. Will Leach from The Projector concluded his review by stating that Rubber is a movie about how watching movies is stupid, giving the film a D score out of a traditional American grading scale. Soundtrack. The official soundtrack for the film Rubber, by Gaspard Augé and Quentin Dupieux, was released on November 8, 2010 on Ed Banger Records. Track listing.